Okay, so I sat down to ask the guardians what I could help with, and one of the things that I noticed right off the bat was the guardians have a tendency to pet and play and try to touch the dogs to calm them down and reassure them. More of the case with her. This is Yogi, right?
Yep.
Okay, and this is Lily.
Yep.
Okay, more the case with Lily, but I've seen it happen with both. So for dogs, whatever they happen to be doing at the time that we pet them is what we're reinforcing. And what I've seen now, the other thing I've seen is like this. So this is a demand to pet me. How often does he come and stick his nose underneath your, a lot, or climb up on you when he wants attention? So I consider petting a dog our way of paying the dog. So right now you're paying the dogs for doing what they want to do, so they're going to continue doing whatever the heck they want to do, as opposed to what we want. So what I like to do is when the dog nudges me, it's basically giving me an order. If I follow through and respond, then I'm telling the dog, you have authority over the human. You can actually tell the human what to do, and the human agrees because the human complies with you. So what I do is when the dog jumps up on me, instead of petting them, I ask them to sit or to lay down. Sitting and lay down are more subordinate positions for dogs, so it's more respectful for them to be in those postures. They're not challenging you as much. As well as it introduces the concept, if you want something from the human, you have to earn it. So what I like to do is I like to hold my hand like this. From their perspective, it looks like I have something in my hand, even though it's empty. So when I want him to come over here, I can see how I can kind of manipulate and move them. So if I want him to sit, I go over his head, and then I pet underneath the chin. Down, in this case, because he went to a down. He wasn't a sit. Now, when a dog is proud about it when it's done, its chin is, this is a great example of why we're here. Its nose is parallel, that's all right, leave it, you can let him. The nose is parallel to the ground or tilted upward. You've probably seen your dog walking around the house with his nose in the air or her nose in the air, feeling really good about themselves having a piece of underwear or a bone or whatever it is. And so I want them to feel good about things that I want them to do, so I pet them under the chin to facilitate that nose up. So petting with a purpose involves not petting your dog at all unless it does something first. Sit. Sit. Now I'm using my other hand to kind of keep him in position because he goes straight to a down. I'm guessing this happens a lot of times when people train their dog, sit, lie down, roll over, shake. They kind of go through a floor routine of those things. So I would recommend that you practice those individually and change up the order. Sit. Anytime he gets excited, I retract my arm by bending at the elbow. So he has to stay completely calm when I pet him. Oops, I'm not going to pet him. And I'm going to block you from going up there. So not completely calm, but calmer. Now petting with a purpose, after a while, will result in the dog coming and sitting in front of you without you even asking them to. So when they do, this means the dog is transitioning from nudging you for attention to sitting politely for attention, so adopting a behavior that we want. So when they do that, we want to make sure that we're acknowledging that and trying to pet them. Now when you pet a dog, a lot of people don't understand that timing is super duper important when it comes to conditioning dogs. Sit, sit. So I'm not saying, oh, what a good boy, Yogi, you sat down, how'd you get to be such a smart dog? Because he doesn't know what any of that means. Now, some people think, you shouldn't talk to your dogs. You can talk to your dogs fine. If you have a bad day, come home, you want to commiserate, that's healthy. For us, that's why we have therapy dogs. But if I want to teach him to sit, sit. I'm just going to say just the word sit. And as soon as he goes down into a down, I'm going to stop petting him because he's no longer in the sit. I'm going to show you in a minute off camera how to use a treat to keep him engaged. Actually, I can probably use it here. Sit. Sit. Now, he has very little impulse control. He just wants to go for it. He's a bulldog. But after a while, instead of this jumping up and spazzing out on people, he will start sitting in front of them, giving a little bit of distance, which I'm sure you would be preferred, especially we have a little one that's on the way. And I'm sure your guests would feel a little bit more comfortable. Some people are not dog people, and that would be interpreted as really a negative experience. So at first we do it to kind of condition them to adopt the new behavior. So we tell them to sit with and what I usually do is I hold my hand like this, right in front of their nose, and then I rock it over their head. But I try not to go I don't want to go that high. That's taking it away. sit. So we want to say sit within 3 seconds. We say sit and nothing else, not even good sit or Yogi sit or just sit and nothing else. Now after he sat and you rewarded that, then you can pet him and you can say, oh Yogi, you're such a smart dog. Can you believe that woman cut me off in traffic? And you know, all the rest of the stuff we want to say. Now the other thing I would suggest you guys do is kind of come up with a watchword. So that's awesome. The guardian went to reach to pet the dog just by instinct because we don't even realize how often we do it. We do it all the time. So what I would suggest you guys do to help prevent that is if you walk into the room and you see that he's petting the dog, say paycheck. And if you hear paycheck, you pull up your arms like that immediately. Then you ask the dog to sit. Sit. Even if you had asked the dog to sit before the other person came in, because if the dog comes in and sees you guys, you know, you mention something and then you argue about it, now you're not on the same page. Then we're all doing our own thing. Dogs want to be with us. So if she comes in, you hear paycheck, you throw your arms up and tell him to sit and then pet him when he sits, that's like, oh, I'm the outsider. So I want to be with the group. So after, like I said, after a while, he's going to come and start sitting in front of you. So reach over and pet him, say sit, and then go on about what you're doing. Petting with a purpose is probably the easiest thing that you can do that will have the biggest impact. And if you can do this, I can give this to you as a gift. If you get in the habit of doing it like this, you won't even think about it, and you'll be doing this all the time without that's a conversation you have with the dog without interrupting your conversations with humans. And it's going to really have a big impact on you guys, I think, in terms of these boundaries. Now, we're going to talk about boundaries here maybe in a different video or off camera. But petting with a purpose is something that it will take you a couple days to maybe a week to adopt. But after a while, you'll start seeing both dogs start to engage in it. And once you do that, you're going to start developing a healthy leader-follower dynamic and respect for you as authority figures. All right, so that's petting with a purpose.